Okay, well, it's probably about, I don't know, about 20 past 5, I'd imagine. I'll find out from my mobile when it comes on. Give me the time. Oh, yeah, I had this really weird thing. So I got to the airport without no hassles whatsoever. Yeah, it's 5:26 in the morning, Monday morning. This is the international terminal. It's virtually a ghost town as usual. I was the only person that lined up to Jetstar check-in when I got here. And they even asked me, did I want a window or aisle seat, so it was fantastic. The taxi driver was really nice. Taxi fare was only $21.50, which is pretty damn good this early in the morning. I'm always quite impressed with the taxi fares up here, they're great. Mind you, with Uber, maybe that's creating a bit of competition, making him quite aware of that. I was going to give him 50 cents extra, and he didn't even take it, so that was amazing. He was an interesting guy. He's married to a Japanese woman and was telling me a bit about Japan because he'd been there about half a dozen times. And he said he really likes the place, in that there's no hassles with violence and what have you. It's very ordered and safe to walk around. And he really enjoys that, and I think a lot of people would agree with him on that, although it can be a two-sided coin that you can have too much control, and I've heard from the Japanese themselves feel that they're under quite a bit of social pressure there, and that's why they like coming to places like Australia where they can sort of let their hair down a bit. But he should know pretty well, because he's, like I said, he's married to Japanese girls, and he spent quite some time over there, so he was an interesting guy to have a chat to, and he was a professional driver, and he started his shift about 2:30. Before I actually left the flat, this is just typical. The electronics are out to get you. I was just shutting down my Lenovo a pad, and the thing came up with this Asian calligraphy rather than English, and so I had to push a button. I didn't know what I was pushing because it was, like I say, it was in calligraphy, so it was presumably Chinese, and just out of the blue, the thing somehow changed to a different language. Now I don't know whether it's actually gone back to English now. I hope so, but I mean I've no idea. So I've rebooted it and just hoping the menus are all okay and everything, but that really, it's never happened before, and of course it has to happen when I'm about to leave my apartment to get the taxi. So typical, always the most inconvenient time. So I think I remembered to bring everything, but you never know. It feels funny giving up my my baggage. I'll have to go and collect that in Melbourne, but apparently you can easily circumvent the immigration by just showing your boarding pass. They've got a sticker, an orange sticker that indicates that you're a domestic traveller. And getting through to the lounge here was a breeze today. It's no problem whatsoever. Very fast, very efficient, and friendly staff. But I tell you, I didn't have to take off my shoes, which is great, because you used to have to do that with these clod hopping things. These Colorado shoes are so thick in the sole. In the past, you had to actually take them off. I think they got some new scanning equipment. I had to go into a little scanning booth. That was the most bizarre thing. I haven't seen that one before. You actually have to stand in the centre of this booth, put your arms up in the air, and it scans the most basic stuff. Even my handkerchief showed up, my passport. I thought, God, my passport would be all right to put in my pocket, leave in my pocket. No. That had to be removed as well. I mean, it was just you couldn't afford to take anything. The belt was fine. That's the weird thing. The shoes, the belt were fine. I had to take my jacket off, my leather jacket, because it's got the zips, the metal zips. But the other stuff was fine. But anyway, look, it's been a very pleasant experience coming here. I love the international terminal because it's so bloody quiet. It's amazing. This is like Changi at about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning when there's bugger all people there, and this is actually starting the new day and a new week, so it should be a busy time. But I bet you at the domestic terminal it's packed to the gills. International here is a fantastic place to be. So yeah, it's a good little airport, this, especially the international terminal. It's I think my other favourite airport would be Chiang Mai in Thailand. That's a really nice airport, not too big. It's got a fair bit of traffic, but it doesn't feel really crowded, and it's just nice. So far so good with this trip. Fingers crossed everything goes smooth. The flight's on time. That's the taxi driver had a readout on his little screen, like a GPS screen. He said he had all the flights there, and he said he couldn't find mine had come in yet, so he's a bit concerned it might be late. So I can't do anything about it if it is, but no one said that so far. So fingers crossed it's not too late, because I've got some medical crap to do in Melbourne at a particular appointments I've got to be at in Melbourne, Savo. So, and of course you lose an hour now, because in Australia we now have daylight saving on the east coast, which means Queensland doesn't have it, the northern eastern state of Queensland, but in New South Wales and Victoria and they both have daylight saving, as does Tasmania further south again. So it means there's an hour's difference between the states. So when I get down there, instead of it being like a 3 hour 20-minute flight, it's going to be the equivalent of a 4 hour 20 flight. So it'll be about 11:30 in the morning, almost midday, when I get into Tullamarine, and I've got to be at my appointment about 1 o'clock. So it should be okay. It's in the city. It shouldn't be a problem with the Sky Bus and everything, but as long as the flight's not too delayed, or not delayed at all for that matter. Fingers crossed.
So far so good. Window seat, beautiful. No rain, which is a nice change here. And it looks like the aircraft may not be that full. So it looks like we might be leaving on time. So excellent. And I get the screen for a change, because it's a Dreamliner. It's nice. I can check out the progress of the trip. So at least I have a map. It's definitely overcrowded. Just 2 people in a space of about 2 minutes both bumped into me when I was moving my luggage around. I said it all. The toilet seat didn't work on the plane, by the way, but finally got out of there. And you can just feel that the pace of life is much faster down here. It's actually not a bad day, but just people everywhere. That's Melbourne for you. Beautiful day. We'll not miss this place. Get back to Cairns, where I want to be. Just going to get on the Sky Bus now. Last view of Melbourne before I head into the Sky Bus entrance and the Hungry Jacks, where they make really crappy fries. So bye bye Melbourne. Cairns bound, thank God. Okay, on board there with Virgin Plane. The lounges are much nicer. They've got newspapers, which is a big bonus. They don't get that at Jetstar, I'll tell you. But the check-in guy was really surly, so at least it's a smooth process. So everything's good. And it's lousy weather in Melbourne, so looking forward to going home.